we've gotten to do a bunch of really, really cool stuff. From being in Augusta asking if I could propose to your daughter.
What a mistake that was.
Yeah, that's sad, but it's fine.
For you.
Yeah. That's not nice. No, but like, I talk to people about when we take the golf trips and we get to play golf, whether it's somewhere domestically on some super private club, or whether it's some uni track, irrelevant, or whether we're going overseas to play. Like, what are the moments that stand out? And I always say it's not like the fifth hole here or the shot I hit on 12 there. Mm. It's the other random thing. So I have a particular moment. It may have been the hardest I've ever laughed. And I bet you, when I say what was one of the moments that you'll remember most about the trips overseas, what would it be?
Well, one pops into mind immediately was, I believe, on the return from Old Head, when I was dancing in the aisle like a little leprechaun with the Irish music playing, and the luxury bus you provided full of 20 guys, and I felt like a kid.
Well, you didn't look it. You looked like somebody who had bad blown up knees trying to Irish step dance through the aisles. But legitimately, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard. It was, what's it, the trip's an hour and a half or something like that from Old Head back up to Killarney. And the driver puts on some of that music, and all of a sudden I look up and I see you literally dancing down the aisles. And it took me a second to say, what in God's name's happening? But holy shoot. That was a lot of laughs.
It was, but you bring up really a good point. All of us on that bus have been accomplished in something. They were all accomplished guys, and the common denominator was they loved the game of golf.
Yeah.
And they loved the camaraderie that like-minded individuals would have on a trip like that.
Yeah.
And some guys I met for the first time, but it only took a matter of like half an hour, and you felt like you knew them forever.
Well, I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about golf, is that we all chase the ball, but the idea is it's the experiences around them.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, obviously just back from Augusta, and we were talking about it down there. One night, I'll tell a story as it pertains to Kerry, and then you can get your perspective from the story. So a couple of the boys were coming back from dinner, and we walked by this shop. It's in Killarney, and there's these shirts that say Kerry, Kerry, and I think it was Celtic football. It's a Celtic football team, I think.
Yeah.
And we're like, how funny would it be if we bought a Kerry shirt? So then that turned itself into, well, how funny would it be if we got a Kerry shirt for everybody on the bus? So me and two of the buddies were literally in the shop. We bought every Kerry shirt they had left. They didn't have enough for our whole thing, so we had to start taking them off the mannequin. Our boy Rico broke the mannequin's arm, ripped it off as he's trying to get the shirt. We have videos of all this, so it's unbelievable. So the next day, we show up to this castle, and we were on this trip with Kerry and my brother-in-law, Ryan. And we said, why don't you guys go out and get a photo? It'll be a good father-son moment. And as Kerry's out there trying to take a photo, Ryan shows him the shirt that says Kerry. In the meantime, all of us funnel off the bus, and now there's 19 idiots standing there with the Kerry jersey on to surprise you. Because, we like to bust Kerry's chops, but he's a fun part of these trips.
Right, I got to tell you, when son Ryan was ahead of me, and he took his jacket off, and I saw the Kerry shirt, I had a wee little tear in my eye, because I thought, oh man, that is so sweet, that this is like my boy,
yeah,
and he's got a Kerry shirt. And then he said, turn around, and all the entire bus is wearing Kerry shirts.
Well, it's funny too, because we literally bust each other's chops as hard as, kind of like, what we miss about locker rooms for those that used to play sports.
Sure.
And we kind of get these on these trips. But there's one other thing that we did. Oh God, were you on that trip? Thank God we're editing this, because I don't know if you're on it. Were you there when we went to the Cliffs of Moher?
Oh yeah.
And we jumped up on top of that?
Yeah.
So
I had a ball with my face on it, my logo. It was my referee jersey picture for my social media. And I gave my son Ryan one to hit off the Cliffs of Moher.
Yeah, so that's the type of stuff people don't talk about. Like, I don't even remember what golf course we played that day.
No, I don't either.
The bus driver and Roy Clark they said, hey, one of you are going to put a driver literally down your pants. Everybody bring a tee and a golf ball. So we walk up to the very top, and we kind of go over the fence, which they said is not illegal. It's just frowned upon. But you get up to the edge of the cliff on like this 700-foot drop or whatever the number is in the Cliffs of Moher, and you just pound drivers off of it. I mean, that's the stuff. Those are those are the things. But there's another story.
If I could just, before you go into the next story, I want to finish that up. Because the one thing that I experienced throughout my long NHL career, the Stanley Cup Finals, the World Cup, the Olympics, you name it, they were great. But they were only made greater because I shared them with my family, that I was able to share them with other people. So it wasn't just about going to work. For me and each one of our kids, 7 children, as you know, all attended a Stanley Cup Final special with Dad. It was game day, pre-game nap, into the dressing room, and they've all held the Stanley Cup. So the experience is what we're talking about here. Standing on the Cliffs of Moher and gazing over that water and
topping a drive over.
Yeah, I didn't. I let Ryan do it, and he did top one.
No, it is the golf courses and all the stuff. They're great, but it's the stuff in between.
Those are the memories, Ryan.
Those are the memories. Those are the ones we take with us. So, was it your first trip to Ireland? Yes, it was. It was your first trip to Ireland. We're like day 2 of day 7 or 8 that we're going to be there. And we just checked into a new hotel. And I get a FaceTime from Kerry. And I'm like, what? I'm trying to shower. We got to go to dinner or something. And I pick up the FaceTime, and all I see is his face with a nubbin as a tooth. So, Kerry, why don't you tell everybody what happened on that particular situation?
Well, first of all, I called your room, and I talked with a very lisp.
Yeah.
And you said...
There's a lot of whistling coming out.
You said, what is going on? I said, I tried to bite the cable, the plastic thing, off a shirt, and I broke my front tooth.
Yeah, he shattered, disintegrated your front tooth.
This is day 2. Now, we've got, 10 days or so?
It was a long
Yeah,
trip.
it was a run. And I had this...
Nubbin?
I kind of looked like maybe a little bit of an Irish...
No, you're offending everybody in Ireland. You look way worse than that. We went everywhere, and Kerry, as you clearly can tell, is super quiet and an introvert. So everywhere we go, he's trying to talk to people. What he's trying to do like this initially. You get a few pints in him, and all of a sudden he's blowing spittle at you because he's shooting through this nubbin. That was a long trip.
Well, you had that Toronto Maple Leaf fan, and there was...
Oh, yeah, up at Portrush.
Yeah, and I had a very famous missed call.
Let's call it as what it is, Kerry. For all the people in Toronto seeing as you blew a call.
I clearly blew the call. And it was in overtime in Game 6 of the 1993 Western Conference Final between the LA Kings, Gretzky. He high-sticked Doug Gilmour, the captain, clipped him on the chin. I missed it, and then Gretz should have been out of the game. Instead, he scores the winning goal on the very next series.
Yeah, which is why Kerry's not generally welcome in
Toronto.
But
that Leaf fan, as I'm finishing...
At Portrush.
He is yelling and screaming at me.
Yeah, you do know that
how
that happened. Yeah, I kind of prompted that. So we got done with our round at Portrush, and then there's this the bar upstairs, and there's a porch that you can go out and sit and have a beer or something. It was a beautiful day. And I go up, and there's this guy. You could tell he's Canadian instantaneously with one word, but he's also wearing Maple Leaf pants. I mean, it was kind of aggressive. So I went up and said, hey, Canadian guy, huh? And he's like, yeah. And I said, where are you from? He said, from Toronto. And I said, you hockey guy? He said, yeah. And I said, how bad do you hate Kerry Fraser? He's like, oh, he's the fucking worst. I hate that guy. And I said, well, he's 4 minutes away from walking up that path because he's in the group behind me. He's like, you got to be kidding me. Are you serious? He's like, he's a legend. And I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. He's my father-in-law, but I get he's a legend. I said, so first round's on me if you guys heckle the shit out of him the entire walk up. So Kerry comes off of 18 to come around a dune, and all of a sudden he just starts getting people yell, you suck, Fraser, I hate you. And He, of course, nods his cap, doesn't know anything going on. I'm just in the background just laughing hysterically as these boys taunted you the whole time.
Well, and then we had a pint together, and I posed for a picture where I said, give me a shot, give me your best, and we have that picture. It also reminds me of being with you the first time where I went to the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And on 16, it was amazing that, it's a stadium, and there was a group of Canadians 2 boxes down. They recognized me, were screaming and yelling at each other. But it's the first time, Ryan, that I've been in a stadium where people booed, 30,000 of them, and it wasn't at me.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it.
I tried prompting that too, but that was the thing. There was one other one. God, Kerry, it's funny. You bring out these stories that are unbelievable. But when I go back, again, I don't even know what golf course we were at or what we were going to next. But I remember one morning, we're on the bus. There's 20 of us, on our buddies trip that we take every year, and it's pissing rain. It's like 7 a.m. On a Saturday morning, I think. And Roy, who was driving the bus at the time, says, "Hey boys, there's this old lady walking down the street. Can we pick her up and give her a ride? Like, it's really cold, it's rainy, whatever." So we go pick her up, and she gets in the front seat and is like, waves to all the boys, "Hey, thank you so much, thank you." So Kerry walks up to the front of the bus and starts talking. I don't know where this woman was walking, but she was on the bus for 30 minutes, and all we know is that her ear was bleeding from Kerry being in her ear the entire time. So she gets off and waves bye to all the boys, and she gets off the bus, and she's walking to the left side, and one of the guys goes, "No freaking way, Kerry, you gave her a headshot?" So we go running over, and this woman's looking, and she's got like an old babushka on her head trying to stop the rain, and Kerry gave her like a signed headshot, and the level of confusion on this poor woman's face, I mean, we had to laugh for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But you gave this poor lady a headshot, Kerry.
Well, she became a hockey fan immediately after talking to me or listening to me for half an hour.
Jesus. This poor woman did not get a word in edgewise.
I did that just for you guys on the bus because I knew you'd have to bust on it.
On our golf trips, what is your actual job outside of being the guy that we make fun of the most?
Well, to have fun, first of all, and with the participants on the bus. But
what's your job, Kerry?
I've got these magic hands, okay? I had all kinds of injuries throughout my officiating career. I've been treated by the best. Before every game, I would have a massage therapist when the team was out on the ice warming up. They would work on me, loosen me up, break up the gunk that you acquire through overuse. I'm the massage therapist on the bus.
When we're all getting older, when we have any sort of injury, I get headaches. And Kerry somehow can get the headaches kind of to go away. And at first, all the boys are like, "That's weird, Ryan. That's your father-in-law. Why is he helping get rid of your headache?" And at the end of the time now, we have a line of guys saying, "Oh, my shoulder hurts today, Kerry, or I've got this problem." So we actually bring them along for the comedic relief and for massage therapy.
Well,
which is a little bit weird, but we get it.
I was surprised on the last trip you acquired a luxury bus that had the bench, a bench on the back that I think was for luggage, but we had it bedded down so it was like
a
massage table. Yeah. Yes.
That was kind of embarrassing.
Isn't it amazing how these guys that were saying, "Oh, what do you do?"
Yeah,
That's weird,
guys,
Brian.
It's weird.
It is
weird. We get it. It's weird, but
and then they lined up.
Yeah. What is your favorite golf course we've played over there?
Royal County Down, I believe. I loved our first trip over to the old course.
Yep.
The bar up the street is certainly my favorite golf bar.
The Dunvegan.
Yeah, the Dunvegan, but
or Dunvegan. Somebody's going to correct us. I think it's Dunvegan. Some people say Dunvegan. That seems weird.
No, I like.
We're going to go with the Dunvegan.
I like Vegan. And I had my referee partner Kelly Sutherland with me on that trip. We had a blast together. But I think
County Down is the one.
It's the home of golf for sure. It's historic.
For the old course, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Royal County Down was really terrific, and the caddies. Oh my God, I love the caddies. So we had you and I played that first round at Royal County Down, and it kind of looks like a narrow chute, but when you get up,
it's not a narrow chute.
There's
you
lots
can land a 747 on the fairway here. Just
exactly,
because you can't hit it is
there's
not a
lots
different
of
thing.
room, And I hit one a little right, and I said to my caddy, is that going to be okay, or should I hit another? He looked at me and he said, Kerry, I wouldn't look for me wee lad in that shite. Hit another.
Yeah. It's funny because the story, as I remember, was when he hit it into the middle of a gigantic gorse bush. And he goes, do you think we can find it? And he said, find it, fuck off. I wouldn't even look for me own wee lad down there. So one of us is right. I don't know exactly which story. But then it was funny on, like, I can't remember what hole, 7 or 8, you hit a fairway.
I was hoping it was 3.
He threw the golf bag on the ground, and he screams, it's about fucking time. Welcome to Royal County Down. It was pretty genius.
Classic. But see, that's another memory.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody remembers you shot 104 that day, but we remember what the caddies told you.
That was on 9.
Hold on. I just brought another memory. At the Dunvegan, we're there, you and Kelly Sutherland. Kelly, great guy. And there was this random, like, 6'10" Canadian cat that came up and saw you guys.
Vancouver.
Our boy Phil. And we brought Phil to play the old course the next day because we had one of our boys had to go home for some family thing, sadly. But so Phil came to fill in. And Phil did something that I've never heard of before.
Oh, Phil Haig. We love you, brother.
Phil, on the first tee, smother humps a drive so bad, it looks like it's going through the front window of the Russex Hotel, hits the side of like a panel van or something, and shoots 50 yards back in play. And the starter
on the
was
number
like,
one fairway.
Yeah, he said, that was one of the worst tee shots. I've been here 47 years, lad, but that was one of the worst tee shots I've ever seen. So we watched Phil do that. But then I guess on 18, he slices it, hits the same freaking van, and hops back into the 18th fairway somehow. So this dude hit 2 shots so bad that he hit the same card twice.
The caddy on the 18, he said, we're going to leave that one alone.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make that stuff up.
No.
But again, nobody remembers. I remember the whole.
Don't remember the score.
No, but we remember that. We remember Phil hitting the same van.
I remember
twice.
putting one on the eaves trough. In
the what?
The eaves trough on the.
What's the eaves troughs mean?
The gutter. You hit on 17.
The road hole, 17. You hit over the hotel.
Yeah.
You hit it onto the hotel.
Yeah, and it went into the eaves trough.
Yeah, I don't know what an eaves trough is. We'll have to maybe insert an image for this part of it. I will say our buddy Dan Katona, we played the old course. I think it was Dan. And dude, he can pump it. And he hit one, I think, over the hotel into the parking lot, which was pretty errant. But that is, of all the tee shots I've ever taken, I think the first at the old course, you'll never forget. 17 at the old course. And then the wedge in on 18 at the old course. Those are 3 insane shots that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. But you hit it into the eaves trough.
Well, the another very intimidating shot is the first time that you step up to the number 1 tee in our backyard, the number 1 rated golf course in the world.
Yeah, we don't say the name out loud.
I know,
yeah.
But it is scary when you stand there and you look and you shake.
So there's the question. Have you been, like, pre-game during Stanley Cup Final?
Yeah.
A big game, maybe at an old barn. I mean, you have to have some sort of jitters. What's more nerve-wracking, going on the ice there or standing on the first tee at that place down the road? Not even close?
Not even close. I got to tell you, Rye, you're an athlete. You played in college. I rose to the occasion. The tougher the game, and there were times where I was reassigned into something that happened in the previous game, and being put into that kind of situation, you embrace it. It's like Michael Jordan, give me the ball, last shot, clock, game on the line. I want that ball. And it's the same thing with me, but boy, I'll tell you, golf, and I could have 20,000 people plus chanting Fraser sucks, and it just went in this ear, out the other.
Well, there's not a lot to catch it in between.
But I got to tell you, standing over a putt, it's like, how can I not block out the noise in my own head?
Yeah, even when you're putting for like $1 amongst your buddies, you still freak out.
Yeah, well, usually I get it close enough that it's a gimme.
Yeah, 5-foot range?
Absolutely.
This guy has never missed a 5-foot putt in his life because he's never taken a 5-foot putt in his life. He's the only guy to give himself 5-footers during a match, but that's fine. We'll save that for another day.